Hello, welcome to Altitude Esports Mock Overwatch League. Today we have the Tokyo Ghouls, the old Shook team versus Seoul Bubble Tea. Today we your casters. I'm Cookie Breed.
And this is color caster Alex Yoshi. And we're glad to bring the Ghouls versus Bubble Tea match to you all for today. So coming into this match, who do you think is going to take this matchup here, Cookie?
So it depends on how these teams play because we have Mercury Spike on the Tokyo Ghouls, a terrific Widowmaker. Their team generally play well around Mercury, and if Bubble Tea can't deal with the Widow, it'll be a lot of trouble for him because he will just pop heads all day. But same thing for Bubble Tea. Bubble Tea has a very strong Reinhardt. He will just take out anyone that he sees. And he's a lot of trouble himself, but he can only play 2 maps. But they've also got Shrek 2 on DVD, who is one of the best Bastion one-tricks I've seen. And again, so his team are very strong at playing around a Bastion. And that will, Ghouls will have to rely on being able to deal with that. But other than that, both teams are still fairly solid with anything else, but nothing spectacular. They're just fairly well-rounded, if anything.
I don't know. For me, I'm not sure if I'm a bit biased here, but the last time I casted that semifinal match between Bubble Tea and the Excel. And yeah, they had some pretty good strong play here. So if I had to choose who might win this matchup, I'm gonna go with the Bubble Tea here for the matchup, just based off of like what I've seen before. But
That definitely makes sense. They are a very strong team. Last season, there was sort of the divide between the top and the bottom teams. They were that sort of the gatekeeper between the top ones, coming in at, I think it was 4th place, maybe, or 3rd.
Yeah, I think they were 4th.
Finals. Yeah. So they're definitely a very strong contender regardless. But I guess we'll see what happens today, because it is also Tokyo Ghouls was a very strong team many times, but sort of slipped through the cracks, unfortunately. But we'll see what they bring back in this season.
Seems here that we're going on to City Center for the first point here. What kind of composition do you think they might run here? I'm thinking maybe some. There could actually be dive here on the City Center.
Yeah,
base is very open.
Dive would work very well here. We saw it last night. But with the Reinhardt on the side of Bubble Tea, I mean, we see a very typical Ryan Zai coming here. Even a Ryan Diva works very well in this current matchup. But it looks like we're going to stick with the, the Far Mercy. But the Ana, I'm not too sure about. The Ana's a bit of an odd one. Maybe a Mora or even a Baptiste might perform a little bit better, but we'll see what they can do. But looks like we're having a Doomfist and Ryan Diva on the other side. Fairly strong composition other than the Doomfist. No, they switched to May. Yeah, this is a very typical sort of meta, I suppose, composition. But they're getting straight into it. Fire is raining rockets down from above. Nice and damage boosters. They don't have anything too typical to be able to punish her. These Mays using their walls the best they can. But Ben Whittle actually finds disease nice and early. They're going to have a lot of trouble trying to deal with this, but they still get that fire free in the sky. Yeah, taking out AMA fairly quickly in the match. Ghouls are going to have a struggle here to sort of sustain without that main tank. And Go Controls is just free. He's just firing down to the back line. They can't do much about it. And the rest of the team just sort of walk through, and they're pretty much it's just clean up here.
I would say a good job there from Absolute Zero from Ghouls' side on managing to wall off the Soul Bubble Tea's mate. But the problem there was that they invested too many abilities into going into the Bubble Tea. All Bubble Tea had to do was back up and let Farah splash damage take over. And it became a lost fight there for the Tokyo Ghouls, which I think they should have won. Coming into this next fight, we already have Goat's control with the barrage here. We'll see if the Soul Bubble Tea sets this up. Ben Whizzle having to use his resources, and that allows a grab and a barrage straight
That
on.
was actually insane. The way that was set up. Unfortunately, there was a bit of a misplay by Ben Wizzle. He flew up, and then his boosters were on cooldown. He got stuck behind the wall. He couldn't do anything about this grab and the barrage, which picked up a pretty easy 3k. And where Go Controls was positioned, Mercury Spike couldn't actually get an angle on him. So slight misplays and well played plays from the side of the Bubble Tea here. And there's still quite a few ults.
You have to give Bubble Tea the point there for realizing like, oh, once the Diva like flies up, now we can just throw in our grab and then just completely decimate. Go.
Oh, and the Blizzard comes out, pretty much taking AMA down so quickly. Quite unfortunate as a Reinhardt to deal with the May all day. Unfortunately, the Diva couldn't quite get the E. We have the Shadow in the back though, put him down 2. That's going to clean up pretty much anything that's going on. Mercury Spike's trying to get a shot here. It's just not working. We have the nanoed May going for the stall, but her beam is just too strong. The chilling cold biting through poor little baby Diva. They don't have much time left here. And with Mercury Spike falling to the sniping disease, it's going to be a struggle.
I think William Zane though might be wanting that ultimate back. There was really no need to invest that ultimate in there, and now the Tokyo Ghouls have one last chance to be able to contest this point with 4 ultimates. We'll see how this plays out. Can they even get to the point that they do? A barrage coming here onto Absolute Zero, and this Pharah is just absolutely decimating.
Oh, we see the Shadow come out, and the Diva Bomb that is actually huge. They might be able to retake it here. And they do, with just 2 people alive. That's insane. The coordination needed there. Who was it? Ben Wizzle picking up the 3k with the Diva Bomb. That's what we'd like to see. Last night we saw a lot of Diva Bombs just thrown out for the sake of it, but that was showing it was a well-coordinated, typical Shatter and Diva Bomb, which works wonderfully as we saw.
Yeah, a great play coming here from Tokyo Ghoul. It looked like they were completely losing that fight, and then all of a sudden Ben Wizzle just pops in and just goes like, yeah, not
gets
today.
Off instantly, and his team can't follow it up. Absolute Zero trying to get in, and it's just not working. Mercury Spike is trying to find an angle, but we've got Go Controls up here dealing with him. Huge Shadow takes out the last 2 DPS, and it's just Dawson trying to contest, and it's just not going to work out. That's 99% unless AMA gets something special here. We're not going to be able to see any more contesting, unfortunately. And that's round 1 for Bubble Tea.
How Seoul Bubble played that one was they just flat out controlled more space than the Tokyo Ghouls there. The shatters coming through on whenever the Ryan is in there, perfect. And then of course the splash damage coming from the Pharah didn't help the Tokyo Ghouls either when they didn't really have a reliable hit scan. Opting instead for the Hanzo, the projectile hero. So maybe we got to for this next fight of we'll see if Tokyo Ghouls could change up their strategy a bit to see if they could capture University.
Yeah, it is a bit of a struggle. Bubble Tea plays very aggressively, especially as of recently. And Ghouls don't know how to sort of deal with that so far. Like they're taking these early engages, early ults, and winning the fights as quickly as possible. But we have the Reaper main now working. It should be interesting to see how this works out for him. It is a very brawly composition, but this is a good map for it. We have the Lucio in the back trying to do something, but AMA is walled off again. They're going to have a little bit more support this time with the DPS. But AMA still falls, as well as Absolute Zero, and that's pretty much going to be the fight done. Ben Wizzle gets demacked, and it's just, yeah, we're pushing people off the map. Mercury Spike trying to hold on, but he falls to the Reinhammer. We have the Zen Ana composition. A little bit odd, but we do see Dawson play a lot of Zenyatta, so maybe he can pull something out here.
I mean, Tokyo Ghoul is just absolutely getting outplayed by Disease on the May here. They've got to find out some way to bait out that wall so that way they can even be able to push in to begin with and make sure that their supports can connect onto their tanks.
Yeah, then they remember that there's a wall and not just walk every time. Yeah, see, here we go. Wall off both tanks. That's pretty much going to be them falling. Oh, so close, so close. The nade just missed AMA, keeping him alive. He gets natted, he comes in swinging. He does get frozen, unfortunately, just on the edge. And that's both Dawson and AMA fallen. And they've just got to back up here. That's 3 down.
The timing there on Tokyo was just absolutely unlucky. The nano coming in through onto Ava right as the blizzard goes out from. That is actually unfortunate there.
Yeah, AMA is going to be furious right now with this with this May.
Yeah. But and look, Tokyo only has about. I mean, they do have 3 ults coming up here.
Oh, the Shadow comes through down too, and that's just again, like I was saying, it's ending these fights. These preemptive ults are just ending fights instantly. They got the pick on disease, but it's not going to matter. They're getting into like this last fight territory. They're up 70%. It's going to be difficult.
This is kind of spelling trouble here for the Tokyo Ghoul. They only had to invest the Shatter into that fight. They still have...
Yeah, go control at the back. Brings out the Death Blossom instantly. He gets one straight away, which is going to be huge for him. The Transcendence comes out, saving everyone else, and they manage to pick Go Controls off, keeping it somewhat even, but they are missing their main source of heals and no Transcendence left. The grab comes out, 3 there. The B comes out to keep them all alive, and we're just ripping through them. They've only got the tanks alive. Absolute Zero tries to get him back just to touch the point, but he's by himself. The Shadow comes down and drops the Z's. Z's gets natted just to keep him alive. And the Death Blossom comes out. It picks up 2. It's actually huge. 3 comes out. We're going to see another clutch from the DPS on the side of the Ghouls here. Dragon's coming through, trying to cut everyone else off. Might be an over invest here. But William Zhang doing all he can, but it's just not quite enough to stall out. They have it up to 99%.
Tokyo Ghouls had no business in winning that fight. Absolutely none. But hey, that's what Absolute Zero managed to do here, right? With the triple Blossom. Absolutely saved his team and give his team a fighting chance here on University to take it to the 3rd. William Zhang has that Shatter. Is he going to get anyone hit? So he doesn't get anybody this time.
And the Coalescence, but the wall's still up protecting his team. They come down, but they've still got a lot of health. The cover top does fall though. And they're just going to back out. Nice and smart. But Dawson finds his Z's on the way out. And Absolute Zero is still in the back line. They just got to sort of do something here instead of just sticking with this engage. But no one's going to fall, surprisingly. They're just continuing to poke at each other.
Now, if I was a bubble tea, I would just remember, don't panic here. You got until 99 to build up your ults here. Push it dry, and then just come in with all of your ults on the last fight. There's really no need to this panic yet. I mean, they didn't.
Run though. He does get the Shatter off though. It is somewhat huge, but there's going to be no follow-up with the way his team was set up. The Transcendence comes out, but now they've got no defensive ults really. The B comes out to keep Bubble Tea alive. May walls them off, taking out Ben Wizzle. That's going to be pretty unfortunate. We have no tanks on the side of Ghouls right now. Grab comes out, trying to get Dawson by himself. It's looking good for Bubble Tea here, but they've still got to get everyone else off the point. Sorry's in the back, trying to take him out, but Absolute Zero wants another big ult. He takes out 2 pretty quickly. AMA gets the pin on Sorry, and yeah, Bubble Tea's just going to back out here. They invested ults, which is going to be a little bit troubling for them to retake.
That is true, but they do almost have the May ult here and the Death Blossom. If they can manage to pop those off before Ben Wizzle gets the Graviton, that's definitely going to be a good sign here for Bubble Tea to take this and take map 1. But they have to do it quick before that Grav gets built up.
Absolute Zero in the back. He's fading out though. It's going to be low. The Blizzard comes out. No one's really going to be able to escape it too well. Nano Ryan coming through into Blizzard. Dragons comes out, but it's not going to be any effect. Williams just swinging around as Go Controls hits the back. He's Death Blossom. He finds poison in the room. And it's just, they're trying to stall, but it's just not going to matter. They get it to 99 at the very least, so it looks like they had a fighting chance throughout it. But that's going to be, it's going to be Bubble Tea taking the first map.
We did see the Tokyo Ghouls managing to pull off some plays there, but the ult disadvantage for the ult economy there was just simply too much for the Tokyo Ghouls.
It's surprising we actually see a Widow play of the game here. Oh, yeah, this is at the end, the first one.
Oh.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh dang. There you go.
See, he can be a scary Widow when he's allowed to
be. Honestly, probably control. Unfortunate. They needed to kind of win City Center there for them to have a fighting chance with that Widow.
Mm-hmm. But they definitely showed like the Ghouls know how to play the game. That second round was a lot better than the first one. They got so close to it. I think if they keep heading in this direction, they might be able to bring it back and do something here.
If I remember, what was the next map again for
I should know this. I've watched like
yes, Temple of Anubis here. A great Widow map, right? For so maybe that might help the Tokyo Ghoul tie up the score here by running that Widow on Anubis attack. So
Mhm.
I mean, there's a fighting chance there. Key.
Exactly. It should be a very good map from and like a lot of the time, the first map is one of those maps where um, the aggressive team usually will come out on top, and the other team has that time to sort of sit back and reflect and see what's going wrong. And we might see ghouls bring this back in full force. We know that they can. They just need that time to adapt and build up. But want to thank Hairline Airline for the follow and Crysdale for subbing actually as well early before the match. Thank you. We
Yes.
appreciate it.
Thank you for supporting the altitude. So um,
Mhm.
see here. For bubble tea, I don't know what they will run on Anubis here. Maybe maybe just a standard double shield. I could see that on the defense, but I think bubble tea is on offense here for the first time. For
That
So
should be
for the
good.
goals, I'll probably predict a defensive widow, and maybe for bubble tea, maybe just a standard double shield broad comp, maybe, or maybe even dive. That could definitely help too with the widow.
hmm Yeah, it's interesting. Goofy Goober replacing William Zhang here, so they're going to have that super aggressive Ryan. Um, doesn't play uh, a lot of divey tanks. He's played some Reinhardt, some Sigma, and some Orisa. So I think on the defense they're going to be fairly strong, but I'm not so sure on the attack. I'm not sure if they're probably not going to have a ball or a diva. I don't think, I can't imagine them diving, which might make it a little bit difficult dealing with the widow. But I mean, of course, we don't know what we're actually going to see here. But if you were the Tokyo Ghouls here, what would you change? What would you do to sort of to pull through to come ahead here?
I might think that they would try to play the fire against it. Yeah, I would go with that widow pick, but then on top of that, um, if they're maybe the Reaper, they had some pretty good success with there on University, the
hmm
Reaper. So maybe Widow and Reaper
Yeah, I definitely
might be a
keep.
combination.
Yeah, I would definitely keep absolute zero on this Reaper. He's going ham on it. Mercury Spike. We've seen it before. Sometimes I think it's near enough better just to stay on this Widow and try. Like he's got some other backup heroes that he can play, but it's never anything as quite as spectacular as his Widow. Because we saw he pretty much won the point for them on that first round.
With Widows, it is a bit of a gamble though. Like if Bubble Tea manages to push through and capture A, and then they could quickly just run over before they get set up and just capture B, then you'll be looking down a pretty large time bank there. So
hmm
it is a risk, I think, if you
Yeah.
run the Widow here on defense, especially if you lose that first fight pretty badly. But
Yeah,
um,
you're putting a lot on the widow,
yeah,
which can be rough sometimes because
yeah,
sometimes you just don't have the angle. Sometimes you miss one important shot and it could make all the difference.
yeah, it is very DPS reliant, I would say.
Yeah,
To put
more so than
Widow.
pretty much any other hero because you don't really have that. Well, you can exist as widow and cause an issue still, even if you don't shoot a single shot, you can still hold entire lines, and be a danger. But you don't have that same poke damage that you would have with just a Hanzo or McCree. And that can make all the difference, especially with these tight lines where it's sort of, it's you can almost completely ignore a widow if they're in the wrong spot near enough on this map, at least on second point anyway.
Ephraim, Ephraim88, thank you for the follow here at the altitude. We appreciate you coming by and dropping to see our match so far. 1-0 currently to the bubble tea. Yes. So yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you for coming and following us to make our community bigger.
We appreciate it, but I'm surprised we didn't see Shrek 2 on Temple of Anubis because these assault maps are usually fairly strong for Bastion compositions, but we also see him quite a bit on escort maps. So maybe they're trying to hide him in the back pocket for when they really need him.
Maybe. Yeah. I could definitely see that because you mentioned who was it? Did you say was it in the you said the bubble tea, right?
Yeah,
Bash.
Bubble Tea's
Yeah, the bubble
Shrek
tea with
2
the
and
Bastion.
DVD. Yeah.
So maybe not on the attack per se, which is I think what they're gonna start on, but definitely a defense. I could see Baptiste and a Bastion setup on that top of point A, high
Hmm.
ground, and causing
Definitely.
just trouble in general. So
Well,
yeah,
looks like they don't want to do that. Looks like they just want to run with goat controls and disease.
yep. I think we're almost getting started here.
I have a minute to open up the chat,
Yes,
see what
that's right.
everyone's going on about.
Yeah.
We got to bring it up
Tell us,
earlier.
Cookie. What is
Um,
everybody going on about? Casters, maybe? Who's trash, who's not? Who knows?
I
So
didn't have it
go
up
ahead,
already.
and
I
spill
didn't
us
have
the
chat.
news, Cookie.
I didn't have chat up. It doesn't show me anything. I can't catch up on what everyone said. Unfortunately.
Oh no, unfortunate.
Oh, unlucky. Yeah, we've only got surprisingly we only have a few viewers right now. For the most part, when Bubble Tea play, we have a lot of viewers normally, because they have a lot of friends, family, and well wishers that all want to see him pop off. But I guess not today. I guess it's just the same old, same old. Oh, we got we got some
Well, we
Twitch
always
chat sent to
appreciate
us.
even just a few Twitch viewers that come and support our stream here. So thank you all for sticking around and watching this match. So far, I would say second point's been a bit closer, so definitely not a steamroll yet.
Mhm.
We don't know. All right, so it could change here on Anubis.
Definitely. Yeah, it looks like Twitch chat is saying that Tokyo Ghouls just aren't running meta, and that might be where they're falling back, which can be a rough argument sometimes. Sometimes players just aren't good at what's meta, even if they try their hardest. And the off-meta picks do work, but unfortunately in this position, it's not quite working, and they either have to force it and make it work, or switch to something more meta just to be more consistent.
I'm surprised that they're not running the Widow here on defense this time. They're actually running Hanzo and Mei. Yes. So we'll see what they do here without the Widow here. Will they be able to wall off the what's it called? The Soul Bubble Tea just as well from the previous map? Who knows?
Oh,
But
absolutely zero finds disease super early in that engage. They're pretty much just gonna have to back out and wait here. Goat Control's trying to get in the back, but he's super low. If that Moira orb finds him bouncing around, they're gonna be in trouble. And then it's gonna push out and clean up here.
Much better.
I was saying that was a pretty good defense here from the Tokyo Ghouls here. I would say,
Oh,
yeah, it was a shot, maybe a lucky shot from Absolute Zero, but still, I mean, they collapsed on them and they managed to get the ult charge from the Soul Bubble Tea. So
Yeah, that's the thing. Tokyo Ghouls is everyone's halfway to the ult except for AMA and Poison, who pretty much have their ults now. While no one's really on Bubble Tea. Oh my god, Disease falls again. That's 3 times he's been picked off in the last minute and 15 seconds.
Absolute Zero making these crucial first picks here, even denying them even the chance to initiate the fight.
Yeah, so they're all pushing on, but Go Control's in the back here, contesting point. Try to get a tick, but Poison's back. He goes for the 1v1, but doesn't quite win it. That insane aim from Gumi.
I think Goofy is going to want that Shatter back.
Oh, I didn't even see that. I was watching the Genji. He put it into a shield or just didn't get anyone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Ghost Control almost has that.
They're just getting these picks. It's the funny thing with Hanzo. It's 50-50 sometimes, but Absolute Zero is getting so many of these early picks, and it's super important for his team here.
Yeah, that is true. He has basically denied 2 minutes from the Soul Bubble. And yes, while Ghost Control may have that blade now, they have Blizzard to stop it. You know, the Transcendence there from Dawson would definitely make sure
Poison's
that
hiding up top here as well. The Meta Blade comes out, but they're in position.
Oh.
They take out Dawson super early though, but Coalescence here to try and protect everyone, and the Blizzard as well, freezing down the tanks. They're just sort of investing a lot here on both sides. Coalescence comes out to the attacking side, but gets shattered. It's kind of all over the place here. We're pretty much got a 2v2 here, but Poison doesn't quite fall. He's on the Ana. And,
Oh, that was so close.
It was very close.
So close.
Pretty low.
This is trouble for the Soul Bubble team now. They invested basically all their ults here, except for probably the Veeb and Goofy. But look at the Tokyo Ghouls. They have Graviton, which they just chuck in there.
And the Graviton does come out. Oh, I'd say Zero Fault before he can get his ult out. Actually wasted, unfortunately.
That's true.
And yeah, we're pretty much all clear on the defense here. Unfortunately, it seems like Bubble Tea played it a little bit too slow there. They had the numbers. They were on point before Ghouls, but they played it so slow that they couldn't really set up. They were just kind of sitting there watching them come through from spawn.
Questionable pick of Tracer? Oh, but Ghost Control managed to get the first pick onto Dawson, though.
Yeah, he pulled an absolute zero there and got the early pick instead.
Yeah.
Mercury Spike looking for this wall though. He doesn't quite get Goofy Goober though. Maybe a fifth, sixth sense, but probably just a unlucky wall. The Shatter comes out, doesn't quite hit anyone unfortunately. The Coalescence comes out to keep his team up, even though no one's quite shattered. It might be a little bit too early unless they can engage hard on this. Shatter comes down straight into a wall, but he does find Baby Diva. They nano the Ryan. Hopefully he can swing around as hard as he can. He's charging and trying to get some damage out. Go Controls finds the little frog, the fastest character in the game somehow. And Goofy Goober doesn't get frozen. He drops low, but it's not going to quite matter. Dragon comes down from Absolute Zero. He also found Go Controls, but he falls to Goofy Goober. These are a lot of important picks on both sides. The grub comes out, but it's not going to matter. 2 ults. And the... Oh! Wait.
What?
Wait.
No way! They got frozen off the point! They C9!
That's so
no! In the end, the Mei from Tokyo Ghouls right before he dies saves the point. And now they are looking at a 1-1 tied scoreline here for the Tokyo Ghouls.
This is Ghouls' chance. That's quite surprising. I swear David was on point there. But no, I guess not. But no one else tried to touch point. You had Tracer and whatnot that was still on, and didn't bother to touch when they were right there, which is quite unfortunate because you gotta keep the point alive, especially when you're literally winning the fight.
I think what happened there was that they grabbed the tanks in the corner, right? Mm-hmm. And then when they got frozen, they got shifted position a bit, and it was just enough to get them off the point. Mm-hmm. That is actually unfortunate.
I can't wait for Twitch to blow up about it.
Yeah, that was I keep on saying absolutely in pun of Absolute Zero's name, but it should have been Soul Bubble Chief's chance to capture. But no, now they are looking at a full hole here. A complete turnaround from the 2-0 that we saw on Oasis earlier.
That was actually wild. Like, I don't want to take anything away from Tokyo Ghouls because I guess it was a pretty damn good play, but it was also a lot of luck involved. The grab just happened to be in the right spot. Blizzard came out at the right time, and Bubble Tea didn't want to get on the point. But they've got to try and push this as quick as they can. Well, not as quick as they can, but they've just got to get that one tick.
As expected, we see this there on the Pharah. Let's see how well they control space. And
Go Controls finds poison super early. Oh, as well as Ben Wizzle. That's going to pretty much, again, end any sort of semblance of hope here. Mercury Spike going for the C9, I guess. Is he going to be able to pull it off, though? I don't think so. He misses the wall for the Veeb, unfortunately. No big pog moments right now.
So, if you remember what we talked about on when we like right before the game started for Soul Bubble defense, just as we expected, the Fire denying. Oh, but Fire gets picked off by Spike though. A good switch here. Mercury, I think.
We finally have Mercury Spike on the Widow here. Goofy Goober does find poison though. Poison keeps falling very early here, which is quite unfortunate. And it's looking pretty strong for Bubble Tea right now. They've got the res on the Deku. And they're going to be able to defend this. Mercury Spike taking out the huge immortality though. Big picks. But they're just going to have to back out here. Fun little fact, Poison's more of an Ana main. Loves Ana, complains when he's not on Ana. And it looks like he should be on Ana instead of Lucia here for this point. That's twice they've been picked up early. But they just need to get the point.
Disease is looking for the barrage. Oh, the fire.
Both supports. That's going to be super important because, yeah, we're just ending any fight here. Mercury Spikes wants Disease again. but it's not going to matter. He gets res, and they're all ready to go still.
2 minutes to go here, and you're starting to wonder. Tokyo Ghoul surely isn't going to throw away an easy 1-to-1 chance here, right? But who knows? It's looking that way. Half the time has been burned down, and Disease still has his barrage. So definitely, and they don't even have Diva to respond. They just flat out have to know.
Yep, there it comes down. Takes out poison again. The first one to fall. Absolute zero this time, taking out Disease though. And it's a fairly even fight. AMA falls though. This Mercury Spike takes out Gumi though. It's still kind of all over the place, but Goofy Gumi just walking forward and swinging that hammer. We're wasting dragons though when we have Grav. That's a little bit cringe. I don't know if they're gonna be able to make it work with that. They've still got 4 people alive.
That was kind of a bad mistake there from Absolute Zero. Yes, you're right. The free grab.
Yeah. He does find go controls though, so that is going to be important. They have grab and they do have coalescence. The Shadow comes out, taking down a couple of people though, and Dawson falls. No coalescence for them. They're just going to have to swing into this to take out Immortality nearly instantly. The Shadow comes out, misses everyone unfortunately, but Absolute Zero is going ham here. And it's going to be cleanup, and that's going to be it for Tokyo Ghouls. A little bit of a struggle, but they managed to get in.
That is right. We are looking at a 1-to-1 scoreline here between the Tokyo Ghouls and the Seoul Bubble Team.
That's what we like to see. We like to see some semblance of competition here. While there's a few moments where it seems like a team's throwing, which isn't always the greatest, but we seem even for the most part, as long as no one's throwing too hard. Other than Poison on Lucio. Put him on Ana, goddammit!
I think the switch from Mercury Spike was the right pick because he denied that sightline area, and that restricted the Soul Bubble T's ability to move.
Yeah.
Definitely. So definitely the right play there from the Tokyo Ghouls. We're going to probably take a halftime break here soon. You'll be hearing from our analysts, I believe, from our analyst desk on how the Tokyo Ghouls and the Soul Bubble Tea has performed in this first half here. So yeah,
hello, welcome to the caster's desk. I'm Big Cam, and this is
Omi.
How do you feel about those first 2 games we just watched there, Omi?
Both maps were extremely interesting. We have a lot to go over because both sides had a lot to contribute in either map that contributed to each team's success. So lots to talk about.
Right. I think in that first map, we really saw Absolute Zero kind of pick it up. At first, he looked a little sloppy, but he kind of picked it up there at the end.
Agreed. I saw Absolute Zero as a standout. I thought his Reaper coming in on Oasis was pretty good. It was pretty rough on the first map. I noticed that Bubble Tea had a really aggressive front line. They were making good space. They held on for quite a bit and pushed it all the way to 99. And it didn't look like Ghoul was going to be able to take much out of that afterwards. I also noticed that they had a lot stronger ultimate combos as well. I felt like Ghoul was using ultimates, but not in the most efficient way possible. So that's something that they